The Veterans Administration has diagnosed more than 17,000 cases of traumatic brain injury suffered by Oklahomans who have served in the military. Many have served in Iraq and Afghanistan, but veterans who served in other wars like Vietnam have also suffered for decades because of undetected or undiagnosed battle injuries. The state legislature passed a law this year that will give all veterans a chance to regain health through hyperbaric oxygen therapy, a treatment that is seeing amazing results.
67-year-old Bill Harmon is a Marine who served in Vietnam during the 1968 six-day Tet Offensive, where North Vietnamese killed 543 and wounded more than 2,500 Americans in a surprise attack. What Harmon experienced both in battle and after his return to the States still disturbs him.
We did win the war, but we lost the battles at home, and so it's always affected me that way. We had people that call us baby killers and threw blood on us and spit on us and things like that. Probably the worst time in our history that veterans were treated like that.
Today he suffers from peripheral arterial disease, or PAD, resulting in poor circulation in his legs. Harmon also has neuropathy in his feet.
Oh, it was bad enough sometimes I'd wake up with pain in my feet, like somebody sticking me with a sharp pin, needle.
3 times a week, Harmon enters this hyperbaric chamber at the Jenks Health Team medical practice. Inside, he receives oxygen at a higher level than atmospheric pressure. During each 1-hour session, Harmon receives 100% oxygen. He has taken the treatments for about a month.
My neuropathy is really getting a lot better. I have more energy. I think clear. My PAD, it's helped it.
Bill Bledsoe served in the Army for 5 years and was in Desert Storm in 1991. During his service, Bledsoe hurt his ankle. When he returned home, doctors couldn't find the reason behind the excruciating pain he experienced while walking. The pain was with him for 23 years.
Every time I'd walk, it just like being in a double-sided cheese grater. And about 2008, 2009, I started having circulatory problems with my leg. I could not hardly walk, could not hardly put any pressure on it at all. I could not feel my foot at all, and it was getting purple.
After just one treatment in the hyperbaric chamber, Bledsoe felt relief.
The first time I walked out of that hyperbarics, I felt like a new man. I felt like, I could see things better in color. I could feel things better. I had, my neuropathy was leaving, my pain was gone, my stress was gone, my agitation was gone. It just seemed like, it was like a new me.
He has now taken 28 treatments. Before coming here, Bledsoe was taking 90 pain and 90 muscle relaxant pills each month. He is now off those medications.
I wonder what would have happened if you hadn't gotten this therapy.
I probably would have lost my leg.
Since January, more than 14 Oklahoma veterans have undergone hyperbaric oxygen treatment.
Now with hyperbarics, it's very clear in the first 40 treatments, about 50% of everybody we treat who can't work is able to go back to work, duty, or school. When we get done with the 80th treatment, about 80% are able to go back to work, duty, or school.
Consultant William Duncan has been leading the effort to make hyperbaric treatments available to all Oklahoma veterans. This legislative session, his efforts paid off when the Oklahoma Veteran Recovery Plan became law.
This is the first time the state has stepped in to make it possible for our war veterans to get biologically effective treatment for their war injuries. The state then is able to then bill the federal government under the Veterans Bureau Act of 1921 and be paid back for those treatments.
How are your ears feeling today?
Until the new law, treatments were paid for by private donations. According to Duncan, being able to access federal dollars means hyperbaric centers will eventually be accessible across the state.
We hope to have 7 open by the end of this year and 30 by the end of next year.
It's hoped Oklahomans like National Guardsman Lieutenant Matthew Smotherton will receive treatments for traumatic brain injury. While in Afghanistan, in 2011 and 12, he endured 3 serious IED blasts.
It's been night and day. It's a complete transition. It's gone from me not being able to multitask, not being able to focus, not being able to concentrate, not being able to sleep without taking medication, to being able to sleep without taking any kind of medication whatsoever, having no problems with that at all.
So today, everybody listening to this who has been told they have PTSD, you actually have mild traumatic brain injury as well. That's important to understand. It's a biological injury. PTSD isn't because you weren't man or woman enough to be blown up.
Dr. Gerald Wooten is the medical director of the Jenks Health Team.
Hyperbarics works off the simplest concept there is, that you have to have oxygen going to tissue for it to maintain health. And without oxygen, no tissue can repair. So any condition that's caused by decreased circulation is going to be improved with hyperbarics.
Wooten explains that blood vessels and tissue damaged because of traumatic brain injuries can be healed.
And so when we do hyperbarics, when we raise the oxygen level up to real high levels, that tissue then can start functioning again and can then build new blood vessels into the area that's been damaged.
During the Vietnam War, traumatic brain injuries were often not detected. John Henry Mashunkashay fought in the jungles of Vietnam. He was in a tunnel more than 17 feet underground when a bomb hit from above.
The concussion come in, apparently, from the bombing. And apparently it knocked us out. There was 8 of us down in there. And when I come to, I was looking around and the corpsman was in there. And he was checking everybody out. Now, nobody got physically wounded, but everybody's eyes, ears, nose, mouth was bleeding, because I guess our brains went like that real quick.
But that wasn't the only injury he experienced. Mashunkashay was exposed to the defoliant Agent Orange, which the U.S. military used to destroy the dense jungles which were hiding North Vietnamese soldiers.
But we would run down to a stream to wash this burning, when you spray a cockroach with Raid and he turns upside down and he's going like that, that's kind of where your nervous system gets, just like that.
He was also burned by napalm, shot, and critically wounded.
And in my head felt like there was little bugs crawling all over it, little bugs, all the time. Still do right now, but not as bad. But then I began to hate. I become a violent individual. I did everything but go to prison. And I was angry. I lost a wife.
After taking the hyperbaric treatments, the pain Mashunkashay has endured for 4 decades is much improved. When he first came in, he could barely walk.
But since I've been in this thing right here, I'm walking real good. I can walk without this, but I don't want to try to walk without it, because when I fall, I can't get up.
His anger has also subsided. Because of the astounding results of receiving hyperbaric oxygen treatments, several other states are hoping to launch their own clinics modeled after Oklahoma and the unique funding method passed by Oklahoma lawmakers.